Hey, loves. I want to talk about boundaries with you because it's really been coming up for me in my life, in my conversations with friends, personal friends, professional business friends, and clients, and just even in my personal life that I've had to deal with. So I want to come on here because boundaries and having healthy boundaries is so deeply important. So if you're finding yourself feeling exhausted or burnt out, you're finding yourself drained, hey Kelly, or you're finding yourself there's like drama happening in a relationship, or you're starting to feel really resentful about somebody in a relationship, whether that's your partner or friends or clients, like let's talk about that because that's really important. So what are boundaries, first of all? Well, I could probably do a whole like TV show on boundaries or a whole like week-long episode on boundaries. Hey Tiff, hey Lena. But what I'm going to say generally is there's two types of boundaries. You have your external boundaries and then you have your internal boundaries. Your external boundaries are all about your physical space. It's your personal bubble. It also includes things like how somebody comes into your space physically in your body space, but also your physical things like checking your email, going through your drawers, even in a sexual relationship, if you're saying no and they're pouting, that's a boundary right there. So that's the external boundary. Now, the internal boundaries, which is what I want to explore more of today, and I think there's a lot more unknown and uncertainties about what this is, because it's really difficult for people to set boundaries because people are scared that they're going to offend somebody. Hey, Artie. So let's talk about the two types of internal boundaries. So internal is the emotional boundaries. The first one is your containing boundary, and then the second one is your protective boundary. You'll notice I'll use a lot of my hands to describe this. So your containing boundary is about protecting you from the world. This is about holding your own shit here, not suppressing it. If we don't have a healthy containing boundary, that's what ends up happening is we either suppress our feelings or we blow up and we explode and we project them out there, right? And then that creates drama in a relationship. So this is about being able to have a container of your feelings, honoring them, having that third eye so you are being a witness to your emotions. Pretend this is my stress or my anxiety or my frustration, whatever that is. And instead of projecting out there or stuffing it in here and shoving it down, it's like, oh, I see these emotions. It's my third eye, right? I see my emotions. Let's just take a breath. Let's just go and deal with them. Bring in the calm. This is my emotional brain. Bring in the calm so my logical brain can come back in. And then be able to share what I need to share in a way that's coming from a place of love with the other person. Okay, so for example, I was recently having a conversation with somebody in business, and she was part of a group, a networking group that was not really a fit for her anymore. And what she started to do was to avoid and to distance. And when you think about that, how many of us actually do that? That's a really common human behavior because we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, right? But what ends up happening if you never speak up and speak your truth and set some boundaries is that you start to engage in these behaviors that don't make you feel good. There's a lot of energy going into that of avoidance. And then resentment happens because the other person or party has no clue this is how you feel. So you're not being in service to yourself or the other person. The most important thing to do is speak up and share your truth. It is never personal. Even if it's a personal relationship, it's about setting healthy boundaries and saying, hey, this is what's coming up for me. And I'm just really noticing I need to clarify something here. I need to say this is no longer a fit, or, you know, in my own personal relationship recently with a friend, I just need to clarify with this friend where our relationship was. And particularly this friend is male. So me being female, I wanted to make sure that we were really clear that because I didn't want to, I'm such an open energy. I am super flirty in my nature. I just want to be really clear that this is a solid friendship, and that's the line. And so me speaking my truth really was just coming from a place of, hey, I care about you, I like this relationship, but I also want to be really clear about my intentions of our dynamics, right? It is not personal. Now, if the other person gets offended and blows up at you, that is not about you. That is about them. That is about them, and that's them not having a healthy containing boundary. They're now projecting their stuff. So this goes on to the second type of internal boundary, which is your protective boundary. So this is about protecting you from the world. So if other people are projecting their shit onto you, this is about not taking it in and taking it personally. This is about going, okay, I recognize that this is about them and this is their stuff. I don't need to take that in. And this is about you setting boundary and saying, wow, I really see this as upsetting you. So why don't we take a time out and go and, calm down and come back when we're recollected. Then when we can be both grounded, like on a scale of 0 to 5, 0 being I'm super calm, 5 being you're super intensely upset. Don't come back until you're both at a 0 to 2, okay? Don't come back until then. Otherwise, you just say, you know what? Let's just reschedule. You set a time and say, let's check back in tomorrow, 24 hours, for example. And then you check back in. And if one or both of you are at 3 or above, just acknowledge and say, I'm not ready to talk. Let's try again another 24 hours. No point in having a healthy, calm conversation if one or both of you are not calm and you're still both emotional, right? So have some seriously rock solid boundaries. Yeah, I could probably go on. I will do a part 2, but I'm going to leave it there today. Let me know what was helpful for you. I hope this helps you be unapologetic and bold about setting boundaries so that it's in service of the highest truth and highest good in your relationships, whether they are personal or business. All right, guys. Love you.